Good morning, Austin Lean.
Good morning, Ty. How are you?
I'm good. I think you got a little echo there.
Oh
Are you
boy.
playing the show in the background, you motherfucker?
No, I don't do that.
Yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I hope you had a great weekend. My name is TY, and we're back here at the Morning Pod. Lots to talk about. We got a big weekend that just passed in the Oscars. But before we get to that, guys, make sure that you are liking, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads from the Pop Culture Corner all around. I think we got a big week ahead. Sam Benjamin joining us on Thursday. And then a couple other guests, including a comedian and someone who might have been in Zack Snyder's Justice League. But we'll discuss those, in the coming days. So, with that being said, how you doing? Now, how you doing?
Right, I'm doing good. Oh, and also, don't forget to share with your friends, guys.
And your enemies, so we can all watch along together.
Right.
We just want to welcome Justice to the show. How you doing, Justice?
This is gonna be like your daily thing, your Jimmy Kimmel, Matt Damon bump every day. Justice.
Exactly. So I mean, we could start it off with this. I find it to be kind of so. The Oscars happened last night.
They did.
We had talked about this previously because they didn't have a host, and I felt like the night dragged on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, and then the lack of like musical guests.
Yeah, no live performances. Which is usually you hear the songs that are nominated for best song, but not tonight.
Yeah, so just from my perspective, the night dragged on with no host. Usually there's like a comedian that hosts, and we had talked about this last night where even if you don't want to watch the actual show, like you go there for the host, and there was none of that. It was very they tried to like do this thing where they paid homage to previous Oscar winners, and and that I just didn't think it worked as well as previous years, and it was just very, very boring. And they switched. So they ended with Best Actor, and a lot of people thought that they were going to pay homage, not pay homage, but they were like, oh, they're ending with Best Actor. Clearly, Chadwick Boseman's going to win, and they're going to do some tribute. That was not the case. So, I mean, maybe if you want to, let's run down some of the winners. I know you were in charge of that, so we can run down some of the notable winners and talk about it from there.
Cool. So I guess we'll start with Best Picture, which was Nomadland. Kind of everybody expected that.
Right.
As you said, they switched up the ceremony. Normally, Best Picture is presented last.
Right.
For some odd reason, they did not do that.
When was it first?
It was before Best Actor and Best Actress.
Oh, okay.
So it was the third to last.
Okay.
And then obviously the big upset of the night, Best Actor being Anthony Hopkins.
Such a weird. And listen, if I hear the term tour de force ever again, because they kept saying that about Anthony Hopkins and Chadwick Boseman, is that like a pun on Tour de France?
I don't know, man. I have no.
Or is that a separate saying?
I don't even know where that came from, but I just know it's like critics' favorite.
His performance was such a tour de force.
De force, yep.
You still have an echo, by the way.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to shut. All right, let me.
But it's an echo for me, like it's echoing me specifically. So
right, let me see.
Just turn it off. No, I'm just kidding. Just mute it.
How about now? Everything's muted. How about now?
All right. Yeah, it's better.
Cool.
That's better. But yeah, tour de force. Anthony Hopkins did do a pretty good job in his performance. He played like a guy with dementia. I thought he did a good job. And that was in The Father. So he wins the Best Actor.
So I mean, it was one of those things that. Yeah, it's like he always gives a great performance. Anthony's been giving
one since Silence of the Lambs.
He hasn't won, and I think this did make it too. This means he's now the oldest actor to win an Oscar. He beat out Christopher Plummer from a few years ago. So I know my headphones stopped working.
Out, dude.
I know.
You out, man.
That's today's mission. Get a new pair of headphones.
What happened to the ones? They're done.
They're done. They're
done
they're
for
done.
kid.
They're done.
Oh,
I got a cat and he likes to chew things. And,
Yikes! Yikes! All right, yeah. So big upset though, big snub, if you want to call it. And the thing is like with Best Picture, I know you're just trying to help, man. The thing with Best Picture, not Best Actor, is this is like the last opportunity for the Academy and for Hollywood to pay homage and pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman, the late Chadwick Boseman. And I don't think, and he kind of swept the Best Actor award throughout the whole award season. So people just assumed that he was going to win it here as well, and that was not the case. And I think the only time Anthony Hopkins beat Chadwick Boseman was the BAFTAs, which are in Anthony Hopkins's backyard, right? So that was as to be expected. But here at the Oscars, people were like, okay, Chadwick's going to take this easy. And he didn't. So Twitter was upset. I know that. Twitter is really upset.
Twitter's very upset
about everything though. So I mean,
but and here's the thing. I've seen it a lot on people mentioning. You can't fault Anthony. It's not like he knew.
Show up, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was the best part of it all, is that they gave the best actor to a guy that wasn't even there. He was like.
But he is 83 years old, so like, I mean,
that is true.
I'll cut him a little bit of slack.
Right.
So who else we got winning?
So for Best Actress, as expected, Frances McDormand from Nomadland.
And you know what I didn't know about Nomadland was all the other people weren't actors.
Right, they were all nomads.
Her.
Yeah. All the other people were real nomads.
Ford.
Oh man.
Ford DeForest.
Oh man.
Such a dickhead, man.
There it is.
I hate it so much. I hate it. But keep going.
Supporting actor, we got I don't want to say his last name because I know I'm going to butcher it. But Daniel, I don't know if you know Kaluuya.
Which one is it?
Terrible at last names.
Let me see.
From Judas and the Black Messiah, Daniel
Kaluuya. Yeah.
Yep.
That's how I would say it too.
Okay, cool. So he won Best Supporting Actor. That was another interesting category. Both him and the guy that portrayed Judas in Judas and the Black Messiah, Lakeith Stanfield, they were both nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, we've talked about this before.
Right.
Judas was the main character.
Right.
But he's in the supporting actor category, which makes zero sense.
Well, literally it's okay
zero sense.
Yeah. Well, it's okay because the supporting actor won anyways. So Daniel took home that award. Best right. Best director went to Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, as expected.
Yep,
which now will be interesting. Now we'll get whenever we get an Eternals trailer. Hopefully, we'll get Academy Award winner Chloe Zhao.
Right. But it also like it is a kind of scary to have her be directing Eternals. Because
really,
yeah, for me, because a person like Chloe, who is her style is different than the Marvel formula, like, is she gonna produce what we want? Is she going to be able to be a cog in the machine? Like, because she's so original.
You think she might be a Rian Johnson in your Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Potentially. There might be issues, like why haven't we heard too much about it? Why haven't we seen anything about it? Like,
well, Kevin talks a lot about how impressed he is by it. Maybe that's why I'm thinking maybe they're trying to save it. Maybe it's. I mean, we're gonna see a lot. Apparently, we're gonna see the Celestials. We are gonna see Thanos when he was younger. We're gonna see a lot. I mean, they said it goes back to Babylon.
Right.
The film literally
There's such a
spans.
difference between Nomadland and the Eternals.
Right. Yeah, I know.
I just don't know. Like, I don't.
Epic scale. We'll see. They did say that everything was, the sets were massive. Everything was massive, and so yeah, this will be her first time taking on such a big project.
Right.
But Kevin did specifically say that like her pitch, like had everybody in the room like wanting to see it.
Right,
So we'll see.
I'm happy about that. I just I was thinking about this last night when Chloe was being, when she was being introduced and on the carpet, and I was just like, dude, these two movies are so different.
No, yeah.
To go from directing Nomadland, which essentially was Chloe and Francis in a van driving, right? And they were doing that like in real life, like they were driving to different places that they were going to film, and it was very much just those two people. And then they would have real life nomads and yada yada.
Yeah.
But then to go from that to the Eternals, which is a massive film, which encompasses this really like out there kind of story and lots of visual effects, whereas Nomadland had almost zero
right
visual effects. Like the whole movie's pre-vised out. It's just a whole different, like as far as like how productions can be different, they are different in every way. So from going to one to the other is it's got to be a little bit weird. And
sure.
But
really, Marvel has a history of taking people like that and giving them the keys to the kingdom and making them very successful. The Russo brothers, they had done Community. They were doing Community. Just a comedy.
But I think if you go watch Community and like the like for instance those episodes, the paintball episodes of Community, those episodes are done so well and like my they're action movies in little 30-minute Community episodes.
Right.
I think the Russos have always been ready for more, whereas I don't know about Chloe. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen her do anything that is. I haven't seen her any film that she's done where it's, to me, I was like, yes, she's ready for a giant action film.
Right.
So that's the only difference.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely step out of her comfort zone for sure. Yeah. Going on for best screenplay, we had a Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, and that was what's her name?
Emerald
Fenn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Emerald
and she's so she was like 7 months pregnant when she was filming that movie. Yeah, she's. I mean, she wore this like pretty green dress last night. She was looking pretty good, and I think Promising Young Woman. It's about the Me Too, hashtag Me Too movement, and I think, sorry if I sound rude or anything, but like all these movies that were up for awards last night, they were not to like give cadence or credit to Bill Maher when he said like, look, all these movies are like depressing. It's kind of true. Like all these movies were about like either historical fiction or historical whatever, like Judas and the Black Messiah, Nomadland, Minari, all these movies are about like things that like they're just kind of like depressing.
Yeah.
I understand. It's about a guy with dementia. Like they're literally all movies that are like kind of somewhat depressing.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. They are. They were a little shallow this year. A little.
Yeah, but all right, whatever, man. I'm happy for.
I will say though, actually, I thought I enjoyed Promising Young Woman in the dark comedy of it, and how they kind of turned it into. I don't know if you saw it, but it was definitely had some dark humor in there, and a couple actors I enjoyed, Bo Burnham and a few other people. So I probably enjoyed Promising Young Woman the most out of all the nominees. Right. Going on, best adapted screenplay goes to The Father, which I guess that was adapted from a Broadway play.
Oh.
So Right, and I think from the same guy too that wrote the Broadway play. He adapted it into a movie.
Beautiful.
Supporting actress. This is another one that I'm gonna butcher. Yeon Jun.
Oh yeah, she was the 73-year-old South Korean woman.
Right.
Yeah. Good
Her
for
speech
her,
was
dude.
good for her. I loved her speech. Brad Pitt produced Minari, so he presented the award for best supporting actress, and she said up on stage, "It's so nice to finally meet you, Mr. Brad Pitt." So I was like, "Oh, how cool!" But this was her first movie. This was her first movie,
I know.
her first role, her first anything, and she knocked it out of the park. She took it home. Best animated.
Some people are just like born, they don't know that they were born for something, and like they get it a little bit too late in life, and that sucks.
Dude, Morgan Freeman didn't start acting until he was like 50.
Yeah, and look at him. Like, people wouldn't like. Morgan Freeman is such a staple to like dramatic. Like people think like Morgan Freeman. Like sometimes people narrate books in their head.
Morgan Freeman's woke up this morning and got his coffee.
Yeah, like people narrate things in his voice because he's such like embedded in their mind as this character who's like, I think that's really cool.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. So it's cool to see what I think she said. She says I want to work with Brad Pitt again. So we'll see what happens there. Best animated feature went to Soul. That was another one that was expected. Soul was phenomenal. Score, this was cool. Also went to Soul, which doesn't usually happen for an animated film, but did. Won best score, Trent Reznor and Atticus. What's the other one? Atticus Ross.
Yes. I said Atticus Finch though.
I almost want. That's what I wanted to say. Atticus Finch.
I almost said Finch. I think that's the book.
Right. Isn't that To Kill a Mockingbird or something?
I think that is To Kill a Mockingbird, actually. Oh man.
But yeah, so they took home best score, and I literally love all of their scores, so that was cool to see that they scored The Social Network. They also scored Mank. And then the best original song went to Her for Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah.
All right.
And yeah, I think that about best cinematography was Mank. I think that's about it. The one movie I think that won the award that it deserved, Sound of Metal, won best sound editing.
Yes,
I was like, that works.
We also talked about that.
Yep.
It's in the name.
You would hope that
it was in the name. Did you guys like Mank? I don't know. I didn't see Mank.
I did
see it though.
I did. I enjoyed it. It's certainly
that was a David Fincher film, right?
That's right. I don't think I'll ever not like anything David Fincher does. He's for me like one of my all-time favorites. It's definitely very out of style Fincher film than your usual like thriller or whatever. But he does it very well. It's done with a lot of passion, a lot of care. Gary Oldman, really, really well. It's a little bags a few points, and I think if you don't probably have an interest in Hollywood or Citizen Kane, you may not be too crazy about the movie. But I enjoyed it.
Wait, so it's about Citizen Kane?
Yes. It's about the writer of Citizen Kane.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So yeah, guys, the Oscars, 93rd Oscars. Here's a fun fact about the Oscars that I don't think a lot of people know. The first Oscars lasted less than 30 minutes, and it was at the Hollywood Athletic Club, and there was no host, and it was a less than 30-minute ceremony. The first Oscars, yep.
And now we've dragged it to 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours long. It's like the night for Hollywood, yada yada yada. But yes, the first one was less than 30 minutes long, and it was at the Hollywood Athletics Club, which, mind you, is very small and very
right.
An athletics club, scream out award ceremony place. But yeah, so that's pretty funny, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, people are saying, what do you think? You think
there was like 3 movies out that year? That's why it was less than 30 minutes long.
Right. Singing in the rain, and singing in the rain. Let's go.
House on the Prairie wins. Oh, that's a TV show. Never mind.
Right. So, man, we messed up. Yeah. So a lot of people are talking like this. This may be like it for the Oscars. Like they were thinking it was so bad. Last night's Oscars might have killed it. Like,
yeah,
there might not be.
Okay, so this is the thing. These shows, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, the Emmys. Actually, the Emmys are pretty fun. I always found that the Emmys were one of my favorite award shows. These shows need to realize that you need that element to it. You need a host. Mm-hmm. You need these musical groups to do live performances. Like, clearly you see what happens when you don't do that. It becomes boring. It's dragged out. Your average viewer doesn't want to watch the Hollywood elite show up in these outrageous dresses and tuxedos. Like, it's one thing to go to
each other's booties.
Yeah,
in the nicest
we can't relate to that, and it's not like cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's there is no relatable like feature to these things, but like when there's like a comedian there who doesn't belong, and he just kind of like subtly pokes fun at everyone, like that's what we relate to, and you've taken that away. So, I mean, there's no point. So yeah, this could potentially put the nail in the coffin for these things.
I mean, I either that or they need to figure out a whole new format, because last night was obviously an experiment that failed.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. It's definitely, it's like you said. I think, I think of people like Chris Rock. Chris Rock was one of my favorite hosts of the Oscars because he just goes in there and roasts everybody. People like that's what I enjoy to see.
I'll even take Whoopi Goldberg as the host again.
Yeah, she was great.
She's funny. She's
absolutely.
Great. But yeah, all right.
Just not James Franco and Anne Hathaway, whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, enough about that train wreck of a night. So there's a new documentary out, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple of days now. There's a new documentary out. What was it on Netflix or Hulu? Netflix, right? Netflix. It's called Unnatural Selection, and it's all about CRISPR, basically, which is like like selecting the genes that you want, and not selecting the genes that you want, but like being able to do stem cell stuff,
right?
Being able to maybe cure disease, and I thought it was a very interesting documentary. You say you're against this.
It's certain aspects of it. I wouldn't say I'm against it. I don't know how I feel about it just yet.
Let me pull
actually.
I wonder if they have like a trailer for it or something.
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, it's one of those things that's like, messing with. You're talking gene editing, and it's you see the good aspects of it are getting rid of certain diseases, helping people, who are born with you have kids that are born without limbs, born with all these different things, that all this stuff could potentially help.
All right, so let's take a look at the trailer, and I recommend this to anybody.
Yeah, really definitely check it out.
And check it out and see if you get if you might have a viewpoint on it, check it out, and and then come to your direct apprehension about what you think about it.
We do not advise that anyone watching this video do what is about to be done here. These compounds are not for human consumption. They are for research purposes only.
Our civilization is vulnerable. It's not sustainable. We have no choice but to continue exploring the tree of knowledge, but we always run the risk of discovering something that we cannot handle.
We can take a gene from one organism, put it in another, and make a medication that could save a bunch of people's lives.
It assumed that getting DNA and making changes and stuff cost millions of dollars, and that you needed a huge lab and a research team. You'd be surprised what there is on YouTube.
CRISPR was the starting gun. Lets you edit just about any gene.
Alzheimer's, cystic fibrosis could be diseases of the past.
He's missing both copies of the RPE65 gene. He will eventually go completely blind.
And what kind of world can we build?
The risks of humans undermining their own existence are very real.
We are developing gene therapy technologies to help people take the health of their lives into their own hands.
There needs to be rules. Don't put gene drives into the wild.
Gene drives could cause irreversible ecological damage.
It's amazing the things that we could do with this. The question is, should we?
What happens if diseases were just eradicated?
Technological breakthrough that could change the future of mankind.
This is truly experimentation on human beings.
These cells can regrow your kidney. Biohackers actively working on it themselves.
How many injections have you given yourself?
We are in control of our destinies now.
If you're really playing God, you don't care what other people think.
Yikes. That was I didn't watch that trailer. That was kind of spooky. So what do you think? I mean, so this documentary, like, I thought opened my eyes about what CRISPR is, what they're actually doing, and why people are so scared of it. Is that's what I'm. So basically, the government's basically saying this to us: you cannot play God because you are going to change something that you can't change back. Once you start, stopping is not an option. Once you get that power, once you find that power, rarely do you ever give it away. So basically that's what they're saying is like, you need to stop doing this. It's not okay. You can't just edit genes to your will. But they're saying, but on the other side, they're saying we can get rid of disease.
Right.
And the question becomes, just because you're afraid, does that mean we should or shouldn't do this? Should we not try? And that's a really deep philosophical question.
Right. Because the show kind of follows, this story with this mother and this child, this kid who's, they mentioned in the trailer.
Guy he's missing both copies. They say
right. He's about to go blind and stuff, and you see, that's kind of trying to show the benefit of it. But it's also, it's one of those things. It's like, are we meant, to cure all disease and to make ourselves perfect through experimentation? And I don't know. Are we meant to play God? And I think that's kind of like you said. It's a question. I think everybody's going to answer differently. I see the benefit, but at the same time, I think it's like they said, that's a lot of power, and it's bound to end up in the wrong hands. It's bound to end up.
Okay.
Doing.
Well, I mean, we can't. I don't think we could think like that. Okay, it's bound to do this. It's bound to end up in the wrong hands. I don't think that's a good enough reasoning to stop it. I don't think so, because we can't. That's like saying I'm not going to get married because I fear divorce. Right? So, well, you
okay.
It's the argument. I mean, the argument against it is basically saying, I don't know how to explain it further than that, but that's what associates in my head. It's like, well, I'm not going to try because I'm afraid of what the outcome could be. But you're not exactly sure that will be the outcome. You're saying it could be the outcome. So is that a valid enough reason to not do something, to not try it? If you're telling me that I was born with a child, or I had a child that could be fixed, that could potentially have this issue eradicated, but I have to tell him no because we as a society were too afraid to take the chance. It becomes a different when you have a child that you have to look at and say that there was going to be something that we could have done, but on principle we didn't.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. That's why for me it's such a hard question. I mean, because also I am one of those people. I don't necessarily believe, I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in God and all that. And so a part of me is like, there are certain things we just shouldn't mess with. We shouldn't play God about. And so I don't know. It's a question for me that I really have to like think about, and it's because I see the benefits. I do, and it's obviously I don't have a kid or somebody like that, but I can't imagine being a parent and knowing that like you said, something could have saved my child, and we were too afraid to do it. So it's such a weird ethical question because there's
very much a weird ethical question.
There's so much good, but then there is potential very bad. Very bad.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's the same thing kind of like with the Neuralink thing and all that too, It's a lot of great potential there, a paraplegic can walk again, all these different things, but also, dude, what if somebody can hack into your brain, like there's just so many.
It's pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Pretty freaky. But yeah, so I just thought that that was worth mentioning and stuff like that. So here's the thing. We're gonna be doing this show, and it's gonna be like basically we read a comic book the night before, and then the next morning we're gonna grab some coffee and discuss said comic book. Now I wanted to ask you here now, what are some of your favorite comic book runs? What are some of your most what are some of your favorite stories that have come from comic books?
So for me, I am my all-time favorite number one. I love Frank Miller's The Dark Knight. Dark Knight Returns. I read that book when I was like, I think 12. I read that comic. And I'll never to this day, like, I remember, when Zack Snyder announced Batman versus Superman, and I'm not kidding you, when Henry Lennox came out and said the line from the book, in all your days and all your years, remember, I nearly like passed out, because that's like my all-time favorite comic book scene, panel, line. Just for me, that one was like that was a big influence on me. That, and then actually, I did really like the original first Civil War comic from Marvel. Yeah, that was another big one that I really enjoyed.
I feel like there's a lot of people that don't like it as well, though.
Really, I really, that was one. I haven't read it in years,
especially the second Civil War.
I know. I just saw there's a Civil War 2, and I haven't read that. But
yeah, it's a lot of people have problems with the second Civil War, but even there's a lot of people that don't like the first Civil War. I don't know why.
I did like the first Civil War. I was young, and it was cool to see kind of the heroes go up against each other instead of villains. And I was like, oh, this is I like this idea. Another one was Wolverine. I loved Wolverine comics. There was a Wolverine, Logan and Mystique, where he's sent to hunt down Mystique.
Okay.
And that's another really cool one that I loved.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hate X-Men.
Really? I did read X-Men. I did read some X-Men.
I don't read, like, I never read them. I always found it to be so boring.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, man. Even the movies I don't like.
I love the Wolverine comics, and I did like the X-Men movies. Probably my biggest complaint about the X-Men movies, though, is how far away from the comics they were trying to go. But I enjoyed the Wolverine comics. I enjoyed man, there were so many. I'm trying to think. I did read a bit of I wasn't crazy about Superman, but I did read I actually I read Death of Superman and Superman Red Sun, Reign of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
All those kind of like the traditional big Superman ones I enjoyed. And then I also liked some of the other comics that weren't bigger. When I grew a little bit older and knew about it, I went back and read Frank Miller's Sin City. I'm a big Frank Miller guy. Anything Frank Miller does, I try and follow and do, but I like a lot of the darker stuff for sure. A lot of the darker, DC, the Deceased comic run, love that. So
well, the reason I bring the comic books up is there's a show that's happening right now on Amazon. It's called Invincible. And I was wondering if you could maybe tell us a little bit about what Invincible is, why the show is actually doing a good job, and maybe why your average person should tune in. It's an animated show,
right?
So maybe you can give us a little backstory on Invincible.
Right. So, warning: it is an animated show, but it is not for children.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hard R, right?
Hard R. But it is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. Comic book shows. For me, it's like up there with The Boys, and yeah, I enjoy it.
Is it in The Boys universe somehow?
No, that would be cool if it was, but it's not. They're two separate things, and they're two separate creators, I think, too.
Okay.
But it would be cool. So Invincible will start as a comic book run from Image, from the creator of The Walking Dead. There we go. Yeah. So stars Stephen Young, who's nominated last night for an Oscar from The Walking Dead. And it's basically about this kid who is about to turn, I think, he's about to turn 18, and he's about to get his superpowers. So he's just learning.
He plays the character?
Yep. He voices the character. J.K. Simmons plays his dad, Omni-Man. It's kind of funny. They have this funny take on the Justice League. You have like Omni-Man as their Superman. You have this kind of fish man person that's their Aquaman. Kind of a satire of the Justice League, but in more serious fashion. And so they're the world's heroes. They're the Guardians of the Globe, is what they're called. And
Globe, I love it.
Right. And so Omni-Man's son is just getting his powers, and he's just starting to learn who he is as a superhero. It's kind of a coming of age story. He's, his final year in high school. He's got a girlfriend and all that. And just when everything seems nice and dandy and perfect, and he's about to come into his powers, you kind of learn some pretty interesting things. There's a big twist at the end of season 1, or at the end of episode 1, and all of a sudden it turns from what you think is going to be this kind of nice, fun animated show into this like edge of your seat, very violent, very very ultra in your face gore, but interesting story. I read a few of the comics after I saw the first episode, and it keeps pretty well to the comics. Like, they actually did, like, from panel to screen, like a really good job of translating it, but they also do a lot of twists and stuff. So if you're a reader, you don't necessarily know what's coming,
Right. So,
but yeah.
So what makes this different from, say, The Boys or Preacher?
It's definitely okay. So it's definitely a lot more serious. The Boys and Preacher, are very much have a very big undertone of dark humor and satire, and this really doesn't. This is pretty serious. It's a coming of age story of him, figuring out his powers, but also dealing with figuring out some secrets of his family. Figuring out how to balance his relationship with his girlfriend. And also not trying to die every episode, because he does get beat. He gets beat up pretty heavily every episode.
I have a question. In this picture right here, there's a guy who has a similar costume, if not the same exact one. Who's that?
He has not been introduced yet, and I have not read far enough into the comics to know who he is.
Wow, he has the same exact costume.
It looks like he might be. I don't know. He hasn't been introduced yet in the series.
Spoiler.
Right, spoiler.
That's like the same exact costume. I thought for a second it was maybe similar, but no, it's the same exact thing. That's weird.
I wonder if Maybe there's like a multiverse thing they're gonna do. I don't know. It's very. I mean, they're just this season's only 8 episodes. It's like about to end.
How would you recommend this to someone who enjoys comic book stuff?
Oh yeah. If you enjoy comic book stuff, if you enjoy anything superhero, this is a phenomenal show, and it's it's great. It's animated, so they do kind of do some stuff with the violence that you probably couldn't do in live action. So it is very, very like comic book accurate at some points, like straight from the panel to the screen. Oh, there we go. We got the trailer.
All right, so I want to take a look at the trailer for anyone who doesn't or hasn't seen Invincible or doesn't know anything about it. This is the trailer that is released by Amazon Prime Video. So let's take a look now.
Come on. Knock it off, Todd. I think Amber's been pretty clear about how she feels.
Todd.
I'm nothing like my dad. I want to be just like you.
I've fought to keep this planet safe. Your power's got to be due any day now, son.
Morning. I'm scared, Dad. What if I can't do this?
Follow me. Slow down. Land. I said land. Stop! Get up.
I'm actually getting used to this a little.
That's not good.
You need to be better. After everything he's done, how can I live up to all that?
You need to decide what kind of hero you want to be.
That was you in the blue and the yellow. Why don't you meet the team after school?
May we count on you in the future?
Yeah, I think so.
And bored of this.
Son, we need to talk. What I'm about to tell you will change everything.
I wasn't ready before. Now I am.
You being a superhero is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Now take me flying or I'm going to tell everyone you're invincible. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, I must say that is so I've kind of skipped over, watched a little bit of the first episode, but I don't know, man. That looked really hardcore.
I will say this: the first episode definitely tricks you. It tricks you, because it's literally until the last like 8 minutes of that episode that you realize what kind of show this is.
Right.
Whereas in The Boys, it starts off with dude's girlfriend gets ran through, right?
Right.
This one takes a little bit longer in that first episode. They make you think it's kind of more of a teenage show for teenagers, kind of like Justice League or something like that. And then it turns very, very adult very quickly.
So
you saw in the trailer, heads fly, things get.
I'm assuming that moment where the dad's like, I have to tell you something, and this is going to change everything, is that moment where he finds out the twist. Or something like that.
Yeah, which is interesting. That moment was literally how this week's last episode ended.
Oh,
so
that
moment
find that out for a while.
Until
Jesus.
Until Mark's the character Invincible doesn't find out.
So
the audience.
Gunn is voicing Invincible.
Yep.
That doesn't sound like him at all.
Yeah, I know, that's him.
He sounds like a suburban white kid. And he's not.
I think that's what they were going for with that.
Yeah.
And then you have Sandra Oh is his mother, Debbie.
Yeah. I saw that Zachary Quinto is in it. Mahershala Ali's in it. the cast runs pretty. Who plays the dad?
J.K. Simmons,
I
J.
was
Jonah
gonna say
Jameson.
it sounded like him, but I didn't know if it was because it has he had the voice.
Yeah.
So, okay, wow, that was pretty.
It's a stacked cast. Seth Rogen also played a part in there. He's the executive producer. Yeah, it's a great show. Definitely check it out. It's definitely not your traditional comic book show or story. It's something that, like The Boys, has a lot of twists and turns and a lot of things that I think you just don't see coming, and it's a lot of fun. As a fan of superheroes and comics, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, I know today has been kind of boring. Today, not a lot going on.
Right.
We have a couple minutes left. Is there? I know you had a. Wait, what did you? I thought you told me something. Did you have anything else that I forgot about?
Oh,
I mean, so I mean, this is pretty obscure, but there's some news going around. Well, not news going around, but Amber Heard is training for Aquaman 2. So Mera, she's training for Mera's return. So Mera will be returning, and Amber Heard will be playing Mera in Aquaman 2, which I mean has sparked some controversy over everything that's gone on with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. How do you feel about that situation?
I kind of looked into it a little bit. I mean,
do you feel that an actor's personal life should play a part in their professional life?
Obviously, I think if you're beating people up or or you're Kevin Spacey or Harvey Weinstein, yes. But I don't know. I don't know with him. I definitely think he's very interested in fighting it, which I find interesting because you don't see a lot of these guys that do get accused or whatever necessarily go this hard. Johnny's going hard to fight it. He's going hard. He's literally going broke.
Yeah.
Part of me makes me think that why if maybe there's some truth to his side too.
Well, I think that's what the job of us in the society is like we hear both of the stories, right? Mm-hmm. Somewhere in the middle of that is the truth.
Right.
So there's going to be embellishments from Amber. There's going to be embellishments from Johnny. Somewhere in the middle of what they're both saying, the common ground would probably be the truth.
Exactly.
And I am a firm believer in that your personal life, like things like this, besides, like if he actually hit her, that becomes a different story. But he's saying she hit him. Right. She's saying he hit her. I don't know.
I know. So this is such a weird thing because it's usually just like straight up, he hit me. No, he countered it with no, she hit me.
Yeah.
What?
There's lots of documented cases where Amber has done things that
were a little crazy.
We're a little on the verge of
right.
ludicrous.
Right.
But so hasn't Johnny. And
right, we also know Johnny does have a pretty serious drug past, drug and alcohol past.
Yeah, I think he has a drug and alcohol problem.
Yeah. But again, another thing I found interesting too is a lot of his exes came out in support of him.
Of course.
A lot of like when Winona Ryder, a few other. I think Winona Ryder actually testified on his behalf.
Really?
She actually testified in UK court on his behalf.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I think is interesting too. There's some pretty notable names, women, getting behind Johnny.
Right. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, so but Johnny was fired from Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and I think Disney.
Oh, and Disney. I don't think he was actually ever gonna. So I don't think the plan was ever to have him in the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie. They wanted to go a different route from the jump, and then this just kind of like solidified their decision. there was a potential that maybe cameos or something like that, but you know, that was to be decided later. But now it's just a hard no.
So, yeah, scrapped.
You know, Johnny's, but that now you're affecting Johnny's revenue and his the way he makes his money, whereas Amber is still employed by Warner Brothers, and I feel like that's what, you know, he's not too happy about, and I feel like that's what Johnny Depp supporters aren't too happy about, is that only one of them was relieved of duty.
Right.
And Johnny was in a pretty growing franchise in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, and he was the main villain in that franchise. So it's like, now what are they going to do? Are they going to subtly recast him? Which is, you know, what, because Mads Mikkelsen, I believe, is stepping in.
Right. Yeah, they're going to pull an Iron Man 2 and have Mads step in. And casually just pretend that
I would have just went back I would have went back to Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, that's what I said. I was to say, what? This is kind of a great opportunity to bring back Colin Farrell.
Because he was already, it was already like canon at that point, you know, for Colin to be there. So, you know, we know that Grindelwald has posed as Colin Farrell before. Why not just go back to Colin Farrell? Like, why even do this?
Exactly.
It makes no sense. So, I don't know, man. It's such a it's just such a mind-boggling thing to even like consider. But
I know. I mean, things are pretty interesting for these people. Robert De Niro, I think I just heard a story where he went to court and told them he's having to take any job that comes his way to pay for his ex-wife's shopping habits.
Really?
Which is like Robert De Niro. Jeez. Robert De Niro has to take anything that comes his way because he's broke right now.
Yikes.
Yeah, things are interesting in Hollywood. These are some big names that are having some big issues.
Some big names and some bigger issues.
Some big names and big issues. Yeah, I did want to. I'm going to share this link.
What is it?
With you. Come out of the Oscars. All right.
I don't know.
Yeah, they posted. Just a little encouragement to hopefully get everybody back in the movies, back in the theaters.
One second.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was cool. They you know, obviously it's been a tough year for the theaters. It was cool to see the Academy talk about it.
Hey, Matthew.
All right.
All right, so here we go. So this is called The Big Screen is Back.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, America. Matthew McConaughey here, coming to you from Austin, Texas. Movie theaters. They employ over 150,000 Americans. They are the unsung heroes who help bring movie magic to the big screen. Obviously, it's been a very hard year for them. Furloughs, closures, basically the longest intermission that they could have ever imagined. But thanks to their dedication.
Was it lagging?
Yeah, it is.
Resilience theaters are coming back. And now I'd like to introduce to you a few people who are working tirelessly to help bring big screen entertainment back into your lives. So take a seat. Show's about to begin. Come on. Guys, we're on right now.
No. I've been working here for 30 years.
12 years.
15 years.
Whoa. Tell me you're not thinking what I think you're thinking.
Hold on.
I've been a runner, bartender, a server, and a supervisor.
You feel part of something bigger. We met working here.
And now we're married. There's nothing better than theater popcorn.
The movie theater is a treasure. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Welcome back to the cinemas.
We've been waiting for you.
Yeah!
The movies, the way you've always loved them, is the way to see them again.
The future, I can see it. Time to get back to work.
You it? I'm ready if you are.
Let's go. Hold on, everybody!
Wow.
Giddy up!
The big screen is back.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, go to
Yeah,
the theaters, guys.
Make sure to get
That
out.
was-
That's pretty damn cool. I like how they included Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, yeah.
Yeah, which is like a Netflix film, which is not going to really be on too many large screens.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
No, it actually will be. It'd be on limited screens for the week before, but you know, they definitely showed the Zombie Tiger, which is a big hit amongst people.
Right. Here's a quick tidbit. Speaking of Netflix, Christopher Nolan has met with Netflix
about doing a film.
Yep, and but he said the only way he'll do it is if they'll distribute it globally in theaters first.
Ooh.
So
see, now how would you think about this? This is an idea that I've had for a while now. What if Netflix opened a chain of theaters?
Buy out Regal.
And instead of staying home and watching the Netflix movie that you want to see, they released these bigger movies, that the Netflix originals, in said theaters. And if you had a Netflix membership, you could just walk in and use your phone or whatever and tap it, and then it would admit you.
Maybe add like an extra $4 a month for it.
It would be like a premium membership.
I like it.
If you paid for the top membership at Netflix, which is like the $17.99 a month,
that'd be cool.
You could just walk into those theaters and grab a ticket.
And then if you're not a member, you can still buy a ticket.
Yeah, you could still purchase a ticket and go see a movie like you normally would, but it would just be screening Netflix originals and maybe other movies if they had the contracts or whatever. That would be sorted out at a different time. But like, do you think that would be a smart idea on Netflix?
I think that's a great idea. They discussed it. They were talking about it last year, where I thought it would be interesting, like if Amazon, they were saying, might buy out one of the theater chains, and then that way they can do that. They can do their releases theatrically exclusively in that theater chain, for 2 weeks prior, and then it goes. I think it would be in the theater and on the service.
It's like going to Netflix theaters around the world. Imagine that. Imagine that's the world we lived in, where it wasn't AMC theaters anymore. It was Netflix
theaters, man.
Netflix theaters presents.
Or Disney theaters. I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming too at this point. Disney's bought everything.
That'd be a way that they would get around this whole, I think the pandemic has opened up a lot of studios' eyes on the what streaming can be, but the theatrical aspect of movies is always going to be desired. It's always going to be something people want to go see these movies in a these larger than life characters on a larger than life screen, and to take that away from people is going to take something away from film in general. So what would be the next step? It would be these streaming services buying out AMC theaters or Showcase cinemas, and branding them as Netflix-owned theaters. And if you have a membership to Netflix, you can just go in and watch a movie instead of watching it at your house. I think that's a smart call.
I do too. I think that's a great idea. And they're at a point now where I think they're releasing.
Hey, Netflix, I'm here.
Give us a call.
If you want my ideas, by the way, that's my idea. So it would have to be, you'd have to buy it from me. At the Pop Culture Corner, we have exclusive access to stream at all Netflix theaters.
That's right.
Sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea. I think that would be an awesome thing. And it'd be cool to see them support people going to the theaters too, for big movies like that.
Right. But yeah, man, thank you for spending the morning with me. I know today was kind of a lackluster news day, but tomorrow we're back at it. Tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun. We got so besides the morning, you have someone that's joining us tomorrow.
Right.
Now, you want to tell us a little bit about this person?
Yeah. Okay. So so my friend Kennedy Mason, otherwise known, aka the Yoinks, will be joining us. He is he's a gamer, plays Escape from Tarkov, and
what's his YouTube?
His YouTube is at the Yoinks TV, I believe. Yoinks, let me pull it up here.
Because I see the Yoinks.
Let's see here. YouTube.
Is it the one with 215? And
yeah, yep, the Yoinks. Yep.
All right, so if I can.
Yeah, he's mainly on Twitch. He's a Twitch streamer.
But he has a YouTube
But he has a YouTube where he puts up his clips. Yeah.
Here's one of the clips. This is 15 minutes long. We will not watch the 15 minutes. So this is him right here. Oh God, it gives me a headache.
Блядь, граната!
GG's.
All right, so that's a little bit of one of his clips.
Right. So yeah, he runs raids and tournaments and labs. And the interesting thing is he probably started this like about little less than a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone from just doing it part time to now he's doing it full time. Makes money fully off of it.
On Twitch.
Yep, he's a Twitch associate affiliate or whatever.
Okay.
And so he's gotten a pretty nice little crowd and following. He's doing a lot of tournaments and stuff. And so yeah, we're gonna talk to him about just the gaming community and culture and his whole startup there.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep.
See, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, he's completely living off
of
streaming
streaming. That's the
for
goal.
6 hours. Yeah, that's the goal, man.
So I think that's really inspiring, and I think that's really really great on him, man. I'm excited to see what you guys talk about, and
it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I've known him since my freshman year. Little fun fact: we both went to a private Lutheran school, and our first day there was orientation. And they had a chapel and they had like a worship band, right? Start seeing it for your first day. Yeah. And we're all standing, and I never met. It was my first day there. Never met anybody. But Kennedy was sitting right in front of me. And as soon as the worship band started, I said verbally out loud, I said, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah.
And Kennedy turned around and put his hand down and said, "I'm Kennedy Mason. Nice to meet you." And that was the start of a beautiful friendship from there.
It's so cute. Oh, it's so cute.
Right.
Yes, I can't. I'm excited, man. That's gonna be what, you and Jack?
Yep.
Okay.
Believe me and Jack for Ty's Corner.
Yep. Rarely do I show up on that anymore. It's pretty hilarious.
I think that's the greatest gag is that Ty's Corner does not feature Ty.
Yep. Just my corner of the world.
Right.
I don't show up anymore. I'm too fucking cool, man.
Yeah, you got other things, man. You're
too cool to show up in my corner. No, but it's a good thing. I'm excited to see what you guys talk about and hear from him and how it's been going from part-time to full-time and what it's like gaming for a living and being able to do that in this kind of world. It's exciting almost. So if you guys haven't already, check out the Yoinks on Twitch TV, and then on YouTube, subscribe, and then we'll have him in here tomorrow. That's a friend of Austin, and I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. On.
So before we go, before we go, we are brought to you by Showcase Cinemas Deluxe. Now, if you haven't already, Mortal Kombat is playing right now. It's literally playing right now as we speak. It's on some theater at some screen, and it's playing right now. We were live from inside the Showcase Theaters for all-day coverage of the film on April 23rd. That video is now available. Please take a look at it after you see the film Mortal Kombat. Make sure to get out and support your local theater. See these larger-than-life movies the way they were intended, on the largest screens possible. Showcase offers X Plus, which is their large premium format theater. Not only do you see and hear the film, but you become a part of it as well. Find out where your local Showcase Cinemas is by heading to their website, www.showcasecinemas.com. Again, that's showcasecinemas.com. Or by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, be Showcase safe. Showcase has implemented several protocols to ensure that your focus remains on the film and not on the pandemic, including new ventilation systems in each theater to ensure proper airflow, sanitizer on every wall, and so much more, guys, so much more. Enjoy the movie the way it was meant to be with a night out to the theater. We are also brought to you today by this one.
That's right. Kai CBD, a Las Vegas-based health and wellness CBD company. They've been around for just a little bit, but they're run by a 20-year massage therapist whose mission is to help people with chronic pain. She does it for her husband who has cancer and also lives with chronic pain. So it's made with 100% natural ingredients and love. So go to their website or their Instagram or Facebook, send them a message and let them know you are friends of Pop Culture Corner to get 10% off any order. Their website will be up soon, so just message them in the meantime and get yourself some CBD.
Yeah!
Ta-da!
I think you're sending me some today, right?
I am. I was gonna ask you for you and Jack's address today. Yep.
Heard. I'll give it to you after. Can't be having everyone knowing my address.
Right. Yeah. Getting
Yeah.
get a rat's head or something.
Oh.
Jared Leto style.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Speaking of rat's heads, I'm just kidding. We are brought to you today by Bonk's Bars, who sells rat heads. Just kidding. We are brought to you by Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia. Bonk's specializes in seafood and good times. If you're in the Philly area, make sure to stop by on Tuesdays. Our resident producer, Jack Sheriff, hosts trivia at the bar. Mention Pop Culture Corner to Jack and receive your first drink for free on the house via Pop Culture Corner. For more information about the menu or specials of the week, visit Bonk's website or their social media pages. All the links, as always, are in the description below. Guys, it's been a real pleasure to be hosting you today. Make sure to join us again tomorrow. Grab your breakfast, grab your coffee, grab your good time, Sally, and let's do the morning show. I'm excited about some of the things that we got going on this week, and you're not going to want to miss them. You're not going to want to miss being a part of it. Here we are in all black. And here's, by the way, here's the Super Mario Bros.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh god.
Look at these little heads. What are those?
That's terrifying. That is horrifying.
Absolutely horrifying.
Dude, that's the stuff of nightmares right there.
Literally the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
That's not my problem.
Make a real.
Yep. So we do it for you, and we do it for the culture. Make sure to subscribe, like, and follow on all platforms. Everything is in the link below, in the description below, I should say. And please consider becoming a Patreon. I got some cool behind-the-scenes stuff that we got going on for all Patreons. And we have some more in the works. We'll see you tomorrow.